What's good, YouTube? SlenderRevolutionX here, coming to you guys today with my For Hire training deck profile. Played the deck at locals today. It's a lot of fun. Does a lot of pretty cool things, different and interesting mechanics. Uh, is it competitive? I don't know, but the deck is definitely fun. I'll say that. And without further ado, let's just dive right into it. Alright guys, so I'm going to go over the deck and then I'll go over like the optimal combo that you want to like start off with the deck. It just pushes out a ton of monsters. It's really, really fun to play. But you got to start off with 3 beat. He's your Rhoda, Stratos, whatever you want to call it. Basically, you want him in every opening hand that you can possibly get. That's why you run Rhoda and things like that. Second best card in the deck is Helmer. He's the discard draw one. Really strong. It's a shame he's got that booty, but ultimately you want to be summoning him off of beat in defense mode. Third is Seal. He's your third best like little guy in the deck. He gets one back from the graveyard. Then you've got your boss monster, Raphael, and then your second boss monster, Wiz. Raphael negates monster effects. Wiz negates spell or trap. Both really strong. Have to discard a For Hire from your hand, so that's why you got to run like such a high count. Double Dampa destroys a face-up card on the field. Double Bravo. This is like your 4-star beater. When a For Hire special summon next to him, everybody gains 500 attack and defense for the turn, so that's pretty good. And the last For Hire monster is Recon. Recon's pretty strong. He destroys set cards. This card gets hurt. This deck gets hurt by back row. This is probably the worst one out of all of these, just because you need to be able to special something next to him to be able to destroy the back row, so it allows your opponent to interact with you within those chain links. So he's probably the worst out of all of them, but still necessary and still a different name, which is really strong. Then we got our hand traps, my standard hand trap lineup that I've been using for a while. Double Droll, Double Ogre, Double Veiler. This deck really hurts not having Ash. I'm not going to lie to you, so it'd be really nice to be able to like swap out probably Ogre for Ash in this situation, but I currently don't own any since I'm not going to Nats, things like that. It's a little bit too far of a drive, and those are a little pricey if they're getting reprinted after Nats. So this is the hand trap lineup that I've gone with. It's worked out well. The deck does kind of its own thing, so it's not like super reliant on hand traps, but Ash would be very effective. Then on to spells, we got the Double Mayhem for Hire. I've been testing 3. 3 gets a little cloggy, just because like if you open up too many spells and traps in your opening hand without enough For Hire monsters, you're just kind of dead in the water. So I've limited this to 2. Double Desires, because everything's like a multiple of, so you really don't care about banishing anything. Double Called by the Grave to make sure your plays go through. It's just like, you want to be able to negate the Ash or the Ogre on your beat, just because beat's so crucial. The one Scapegoat. Scapegoat's just super strong in this, and like Scapegoat resolving is just like it's an instant Nightmare Goblin, which is like really strong in this, getting the additional normal summon. I've seen a lot of people play Brilliant Fusion builds, but I prefer Scapegoat. It's just an easy like set pass card. Like if your opponent tries to destroy it, you just trigger it. It's just like you gain so much advantage if you resolve Scapegoat. Then the other but like super busted one-ofs. We've got, obviously, Soul Charge. Soul Charge in this deck is really dumb. If you end up making, like, Saryuja and then bringing back all your monsters and then you just make incredible pluses. The one actual Monster Reborn, pretty clear-cut. No need for explanation. You have your Rhoda to search your beat. It's the only monster in this that, like, this can search. Just because they're all different types and attributes. But you definitely need to see beat, so having, like, a 4th copy of beat in yours, is really strong. Then the last one is Upstart Goblin. I'm running 40, just trying to manage consistency. Under the traps, I run 2 Solemn Scolding. You don't run a whole lot of back row, and this is like the one card that can react to anything. So being able to set this with like an additional negate from like Wiz or Raphael on board is like really, really strong. If you have like, so like the optimal play would be like to have like Raphael or Wiz plus this, plus a hand trap in hand, and it's just like, it's a blowout. The one Imperial Order, this card, same concept. Like, if you have Raphael plus this, like, it can be a real blowout in games. Last but not least, we have the one Training for Hire for all your training needs. So a lot of people don't play this, but I found, like, after testing this deck a lot, that if you, like, the deck's, like, whole idea is, like, overcommit. Like, you're overcommitting to the board no matter, like, what you do, like, just to try to gain advantage. And if you lose those monsters, you end up losing a lot of advantage and probably lose the game. Like, I found myself, like, losing to, like, decks that ran triple torrential. And this kind of, like, mitigates that, just because, like, you're able to replace those monsters, and it's half decent. Like, and they can trigger their effects as well, which isn't bad. I wish it was searchable. I wish Beat could search us. It would make it infinitely better. But it's okay. So that's it for the main deck. 40 cards, like I said. We'll go on to the extra deck. I have the one Link Spider because scapegoats, and allowing you to go into Goblin and then getting your extra normal summon. The one Nightmare Mermaid, just in case you get extra linked out of your mind, you want to be able to deal with the Ibli. The one Underclock Taker, straight down arrow, plus it can really make Raphael beefy. The one Nightmare Goblin for them extra normal summons. I run double Phoenix, just because it's, like, this deck needs to deal with back row, and if you're going to end up dealing with back row, like, it becomes really strong. The one Service, same kind of explanation, like, this is just, like, a worse Phoenix. Then you've got your Link 3, Decode Talker. If you end up making Decode Talker with, like, a Soul Charge behind it, it becomes really strong. I think this is better than Trisbania in this deck, just because, like, if you're facing a lot of back row, they're going to be able to react to whatever you're doing before you even go into the Trisbania. So, like, in the opportunity of you getting to a Link 3, like, Decode Talker allows you to protect your monsters that can't protect themselves, so it's just really strong. Your Link 4, your big boy Saryuja Skuldread. See, a lot of people running 2 in this, but, like, this card it's kind of iffy. Like, you can make it super easily, but if you don't, like, have cards in your hand to kind of, like, mitigate what you lose after you draw it, like, it becomes subpar. But, like, I've also had situations where if you resolve this card, like, it's a blowout. You just gain so much advantage. And then after that, I've got, like, my little rank 3 and 4 engine. For the instance that you end up with, like, a double beat, Acid Golem's really strong to get over big monsters and will, like, push for OTKs and stuff. Like, because if you can resolve beat, reborn a beat, beat effect, bring out Raphael, or bring out, like, the bumper guy that boosts 500 Raphael, and then this, like, that's game right there. So, like, with just, like, a couple simple plays, that allows you to push for game. Plan B, obviously, if your turn doesn't go as planned, there's 2 level 4 for higher monsters between the seal that brings back from the graveyard and the guy that boosts 500. If you can resolve that and, like, end up having a subpar hand and just make him in defense, he's just like a really... He's not going to, like, win you games, but it's literally Plan B. That's what it is. And last rank 4 is Abyss Dweller. A lot of stuff deals with the graveyard. Abyss Dweller's just, like, always been kind of staple. And then we have our Cherries targets. I have the one Double Helix, the one Isold, and the one ABC Dragon Buster. This deck has a really hard time with ABC. Hitting the Dragon Buster early is really strong. And now on to the side deck. Triple Cherries, obviously, whatever hand trap isn't working, you kind of just swap them out and make your decision on what you want to do. And obviously, like, you want to do this if you are forced to go second, just so you make sure, because you're always going to have, like, multiple monsters on board, so you want to be able to trigger this going second on your opponent's first turn. Double Sphere mode, you want to avoid getting linked out of the game. That's it for the monsters in the side deck. I've got double Twin Twisters to deal with back row decks. Double Shared Ride when going first against decks that search a lot, like basically anything in the meta right now. Double Decree, I hate back row. This is for going first against back row decks. Double Red Reboot for going second against back row decks. Like, I would run 3 of this over the Decree, but I just feel like if you can't OTK them going second, like, this just, like, nets them so much advantage. And last but not least, I run the double Mind Crush because everything searches. I find myself, like, struggling between this and Shared Ride, just because, like, they kind of are conflicting. But this definitely rocks. Like, this card is such a, like, sleeper card this format, and Mind Crush, like, puts in so much work in the side deck. So now we're gonna go in. Let's, like, I'll show, like, the optimal combo that you kind of, like, want to show off. And that's the reason that you run, like, these 3 of. So ultimately, you want this, 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 and you just, like, so the best combo is, like, opening with this and having any combination of 2 of these 3 in your opening hand. That's why they're all ran at 3. So basically, like, your best play is, like, you're going to summon Beat Effect. You're going to summon Helmer Effect, Well, you're going to resolve beat, search for whatever piece you don't have out of this. Helmer effect, summon seal. Either ultimately like discard this or trigger another or discard another strategist. You don't even really need to resolve this. It's just like you can either just like slim it down and go from there to there. But like ultimately, if you have another for hire in hand, discard one, draw one, then seal effect, resolve this. If you used Helmer's effect to discard, I don't know, like recon, you can get the recon back to hand that keeps this card live. And then you're gonna excavate your 3 and add 1. This is the card that like makes cherries incredibly strong in this deck. I mean, not cherries. This is the card that makes Ash Blossom really strong in this deck because like ultimately you want to excavate to grab the Ash Blossom, especially going first, because like in this situation, like you could go into your Decode Talker here. You could go into just like a bunch of different plays that allow you to have a couple interruptions on your opponent's turn. Which is really, really strong. Like, so here you could have like a rank 3 if you wanted a rank 3. Like, it's just like, this is like the optimal hand that I've seen so far in testing. And like, obviously it just gets better with things like Mayhem. If you have a Mayhem in hand, or if you have Soul Charge in hand, this just becomes like completely insane. Like, if you have this already in hand, you're just going to put them all out, make Saryuja, and then you're going to just draw your 4, put your 3 back, and then you're going to just Soul Charge back like 2 or 3 of these guys. And it just becomes nutty. Like, the deck is so combo based, it's a really, really fun to play. I really suggest picking it up, especially like if it gets cheaper. Like right now, I understand Seal's pretty expensive, but if you guys like the deck profile, give it a thumbs up. You know I like it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, improvements on the deck, go ahead and leave that in the comment section down below. I love to hear from you guys, and like I said, I read all of the comments that you guys leave. Just kind of as a good way for me to stay in contact with you guys and show you that I'm actually a real person. And as always, guys, remember to subscribe to join the revolution today. This is SlenderRevolutionX signing out, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.